What it do? In today's video, we're gonna be talking about the Beat Generation. Now I bet some of y'all uncultured fools might think it's about some crazy musical artist at Kurt Cobain or his fancy headphones, but you couldn't be more wrong. The Beat Generation was a spiritual journey that rejected materialism and experimented in sexual liberties and drugs. Those crackheads want LSD, morphine, and Mary Jane to get the creative juices going, if you know what I mean. Up to 1945, Hitler and the Nazis were in control, but then they got bopped and the war went ballistic. No cap. Life changed and the boys on the block started straying from the conservative ideals. The Beat Generation gained steam in the 1950s where Sinatra and Bobby were the wave. For a time where the white man with the white picket fence house was the envy way to live, these nut jobs wanted the opposite, no cap. The Beat Generation was a group of artists who just wanted to have a fun time and reject literary formalism and the American culture built on capitalism and materialism, no cap. My boys were fed up with the imperial American dream that promoted materialism and wanted to retreat to a place with zero conformities. Big Daddy Kerouac and his disciples Ginsberg, Snyder, Kiger, Cassidy, Burroughs were the OGs of this generation. The boys were trying to find their boot thing and start a fan because the future of America was looking bright. That's why I need these shades, no cap. People were secured a bag over in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Greenwich Village, New York, known to be the baby mama of the Beat Generation and the ground zero of so-called bohemian artists. Think of members of the Beat Generation as that group of losers who eat lunch in the bathroom together. Damn, that's weird, cause they were isolated from all the cool kids and made fun of because they were different, but they were just living their best life. I'm living my best life. Y'all remember Officer Carlos? Well, yeah, forget about him and his dear Fugazi, because those Beat Generation artists weren't playing when it came to psychedelics. My boys claimed it was necessary to free the mind through various drugs so the work can represent their freedom. But low-key, we all know why they're using that shit. Just like the famous rapper Kid Cudi said,
"The lonely loner seems to free his mind at night."
Kerouac knew all the plugs in Times Square underground and once took so much amphetamine he lost all his hair and his legs swelled up. These crackheads use drugs, jazz, sex, or even the disciples of Zen Buddhism to help them achieve personal release and break away from social problems. The Beat Generation caused the formation of different groups like the emos, goths, and hippies, and made society the wacky way it is today. No cap. Yeah. Alright, y'all, it's time to get serious. Defining typical social life was not completely new, as many people throughout history have thought outside the box and looked beyond what they represented. Historical figures such as philosophers, scientists, and activists have caused change solely by questioning society. Beatniks, the term used to describe people who took part in the Beat Generation, used various forms of literature to shine a light on realism that was previously ignored. The term beat comes from beaten down spirits of many young adults after the conclusion of World War II. Kerouac and numerous other beatniks strayed from literary norms and used free verse poetry, unconstructed composition, spontaneous prose, and colloquial speech over jazz rhythms to express their views. One of Kerouac's most famous pieces, On the Road Again, was written on sheets of paper together to form a scroll, showing exactly how little he conformed to literary norms. The Beat Generation spread slowly due to a lack of unity regarding political and economic positions. Beat Generation ideals originally spread through one person telling another. However, beatniks soon realized this method was ineffective, therefore they changed. Now for the analysis part of this presentation, we'll be analyzing Allen Ginsberg's poem, How? Ow! Because it represents the ideals and attitudes of beatniks. How is divided into three parts, which expresses the sacrifices needed to transcend into a materialistic world. The first section explains how people who do not conform to societal norms are ridiculed. This ridicule causes individuals to dabble into drug abuse, criminal activity, and sexual experiencing, making them stray even further from what is considered normal in society. Ginsberg captures this feeling perfectly in the first three lines of Howl when he says, "I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness, starving hysterically, naked, dragging themselves to the Negro streets at dawn, looking for an angry fix." The second section describes the pain and isolation felt by the non-conformists who were outcasted by society. Ginsberg uses Moloch, a god form from the Old Testament, to symbolize everything the Beatniks are against. Moloch represents materialism, apathy towards the undesirable, industrialism, and conformity. The third part of How is about how all the oppressed members of the Beat Generation have been driven mad by the world in which they are forced to live in. This section is directed to a fellow Beat Generation author by the name of Carl Solomon, and how they built a friendship through craziness. Ginsberg starts every stanza with "I am with you in rock," which is a symbol about how him and Solomon are together in isolation. Another important piece of the Beat Generation is the poem Bomb, written by Gregory Corso. This poem uses symbolism, shape, satire, and metaphors to protect against the use of atomic bombs. The poem is written in the shape of a mushroom cloud that appears after an atomic bomb has gone off. The poem puts an emphasis on the love-hate relationship conformists have with atomic bombs. He wonders if he can truly hate the bomb when he doesn't hate other forms of destruction, like thunderbolts and cancer. When Gregory Corso wrote that in the hearts of men to come more bombs will be born, magisterial bombs wrapped in ermine all beautiful, and they'll sit plunk on earth's grumpy empires, fierce with the mustaches of gold. It gives the reader the idea that bigger and more destructive weapons will be constructed in the future. Corso heavily relies on sarcasm to get his message across to the readers. Corso was not met with the praise he had hoped for, due to the timing he released the piece. With World War II just ending, and many worried about the Cold War, now is not the time to publish a satirical piece about atomic bombs. On the Road by Jack Kerouac was another important literary piece that came out of the Beat Generation. Many parts of the novel were based off of Kerouac's own experiences traveling around America. At the time of its publishment, many viewed this novel as pointless. However, it challenged post-World War II views and questioned fundamental parts of capitalism. Kerouac believed that capitalism constrained everyone's time and could not comprehend why the success of a society was based off of its material output. Kerouac created a character named Dean Moriarty to demonstrate exactly how much time capitalism took out of a person's life. Dean had a schedule with every minute filled with events because he wanted to take advantage of every moment possible. He lived in the moment and did not think about the past or the future. Kerouac was trying to warn the reader about the straight-up toxic mentality in order to criticize American capitalism even more. Kerouac wrote about Dean traveling to Mexico and how the crops were nicer and things were cheaper. Dean explains how in Mexico, time was much less constricting and everyone was much more relaxed compared to America. Throughout the novel, Dean is looking for it, which is a pure moment of pleasure that he can experience in a world of chaos. He uses drugs and jazz to help him reach the point of pleasure. However, he realizes through experimentation that happiness is whack and is gone before you know it. Altogether, the Beat Generation had a lasting impact on the social and political norms of society. The Beatniks were the voice of the people who were too scared to express their views because it didn't align with society's. Yeah. Although there are many different branches of the Beat Generation, all of them are considered outcasts and isolated from society. Point 1. Ginsberg beautifully described members of the Beat Generation as people who were expelled from the academies for crazy and publishing obscene odes on the windows of the skull. In his work, How. The Beat Generation was the baby daddy of all the counterculture reforms you can think of today. No cap schlat. Guys, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. Yeah. That was so difficult. I don't think I've ever been that focused in my life.
I was holding it.
Beyond what they represented. Historical figures. On the road again. Bye. I said on the road again. On the road again. The do-rag. I went to go grab the do-rag and I'm like,
He said, dude.
it's a rap, baby!